Before we get into this one, if you could just hit that subscribe button down below, that would mean a massive amount to me because we're trying to hit 3K this year. But without further ado, let's get into this video. Now, today's video, Kalvin Phillips. Kalvin Phillips is going to Man City. We all sort of knew that he would, but there's some more details that have come out, which I want to talk about. I want to talk about the actual move itself, the player, and then Darko Diaby, who's coming the other way from Man City on a separate deal. So, first of all, the price then. £45 million it's rumoured to be. There's been some other rumours there. I think The Athletic and the YEP and some other websites all reported different prices. But for the sake of this video, we're going to assume it's in the region of £45 million, which I do not think is enough. Now, the reason I don't think that is enough is because when you look at the other players who have gone to City even, Rodri, but other players that have gone round recently, when you look at those players and the prices that they've gone for, Phillips should be a lot higher up that list. Now, the reason for that is because we backed ourselves into a corner. Because the club felt that they owed it to Kalvin to give him the move that he wanted, which was the move to Man City. He'd said, I only want to work under Pep Guardiola if I'm going to leave. Kalvin has sort of backed Leeds into a corner. Reportedly, Leeds had a lot of other bids from elsewhere which were much more handsome propositions. So Leeds had bids from PSG, I think, a few other Premier League clubs as well, apparently. And apparently they were actually for a lot more money than what we ended up getting for Kalvin from Man City in the end. So it's one of those. We respect Kalvin. We love Kalvin. What he did for this team, the games that he's played, the performance that he's put in, what he's done for England as well. We know he's a fantastic player. He's hard-working. He's humble. I mean, I think Gareth Southgate said it. Bielsa said it. He is... The talent to ego ratio on Kalvin Phillips is right up there with some of the best players who have a low ego because he's working class. He doesn't really care about the limelight. He just loves playing football. He just wants to play football. And so that's one of the reasons mainly why Leeds fans loved him. Well, still do, to be honest. I can't see many people begrudging him this move, and I don't think I do either. There was only... Footballers' careers are very short, aren't they? So him taking this move is maybe his one chance to go and play for Man City and to win Premier League titles, to play Champions League football. I understand it. If it was me personally, I would stay at Leeds, but it's easy to say that when you're not a professional footballer. But I think the sheer amount of money they earn anyway, I would just want to play for my dream club, Leeds United, for my entire career. Unless it was like Leeds were in League One or the Championship and you were at that point where the club just had to sell you because you were worth that much money to them. So I don't think we would begrudge him. And to be honest, if Yorkshire Purlo rings out around Ellen Road when Man City come to visit, I will join in. And because I've got nothing against him. Like I said, I understand it. He could have gone to Leeds. Could have gone to Villa a few years ago when we were in the Championship, but he didn't. He stayed and tried to get us promoted, which he did. And then he's had 2 seasons in the Premier League with us. So I think he's achieved what he set out to achieve, really, with Leeds. When he first came through into the first team, he probably wanted to get Leeds back to the glory days and Leeds back in the Premier League. But having said that, he's gone now, or he's going to in the next few days, and the fee is £45 million. I don't think it's enough. We've all said we don't think it's enough. There's nothing we could do about it, but it's just disappointing to hear that that's the amount of money we've taken for him. For me personally, £60 million, £65 million, around that region would have been the right price for Kalvin Phillips. So to lose out for £15-20 million is not great for me. Because if you look at some of the business that we've done already, people like Rasmus Christensen and Matt Roca, all brought in for around £10 million. You can buy decent players for £10 million. So to lose out on £15-20 million, we could have actually used that money to invest and buy more players to put back into the squad again. So it's disappointing to lose out on that extra bit of money from Kalvin's sale. But I think the whole transfer epitomises the state of modern football, doesn't it? I mean, you have your lad who's grown up in Leeds, who supported Leeds all his life. There's pictures of him when he's 5 years old wearing Leeds shirts, and he then plays for Leeds. He plays for Leeds until he's 25, and then he moves on to somebody who's going to win competitions and pay him more money. And years ago, you'd have players like Alan Shearer. I mean, more recently, Mark Noble stayed at West Ham his entire career. But in days gone by, you'd have one club men, and they'd play for that club their entire career because they loved it and it was for the joy of it. But modern football being the way it is, Man City are going to pay him almost double his wage at Leeds. He's going to play in the Champions League. He's going to give him a better chance for England, and he's going to win Premier League titles, no doubt, in my mind, because that's just what Man City do. They're a machine. People also talking about the fact that he won't get any game time. Man City actually play 30% more fixtures than the rest of us in the Premier League because they've got Champions League. They stay in all the domestic cups to the end, the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, they stay in that to the end, the Premier League, and then the Champions League as well. So they've got so many eggs in so many baskets that they need the kind of depth that they have. And obviously he's going in to replace Fernandinho, so Kalvin Phillips could be playing in the Champions League, maybe in the Cups, a few times in the league, depending on the opposition. Like he will get game time, and obviously Guardiola's identified him as the sort of player that he wants because he's played under Bielsa, and so he sort of knows the fundamentals of the way Pep wants to play, and Kalvin's passing range is obviously a real asset to Man City. But like I've said, it's modern football. It's heartbreaking that you won't get a player like this who is idolised by the fans, loved by the fans, won't stay at a club forever. But like I say, that's just modern football, and there's not really anything we can do about it. So all in all then, before we move on to Darko Diaby, I'm not happy that Kalvin Phillips is leaving Elland Road. £45 million I don't feel is enough. Do I begrudge Kalvin for doing the move? No, I don't. I think it was the logical step, being the way that modern football is. So that's my thoughts on Kalvin. I'm not angry at him. Other people have been saying, oh, he was crap anyway, he wasn't good enough anyway, he was going off the boil. That's not true. He maybe wasn't totally suited to playing in a double pivot because he'd been playing as a holding lone midfielder for all the time under Bielsa, and he was coming back from injury as well, so there's no guarantee that you're going to regain your prior form immediately. And people saying that he was getting past his prime, he's 25, 26, he's just about to hit his prime, 28 to 30, so good luck to him. I hope he does win a Champions League. I hope he wins some competitions, and maybe when he's right at the end of his career, he might have his swan song back at Leeds again. But that's enough for now on Kalvin Phillips. Feel free to comment below if you want to chat more about that, if you've got other opinions than mine maybe, and I'll reply to as many as I can. So in addition to this transfer then, we've got another one coming the other way, and that is 18-year-old Darko Diaby from Man City. So apparently this is a separate transfer, so it may have been something to do with the confusion around the price for Phillips, because some places were reporting that it was 50 million, but then other places were saying that it was 45 million because we've paid 5 million, and it's sort of subtracted the difference for this Darko Diaby. Now, Darko Diaby has only played one game for the Man City under-23s, I think, this season. I think he plays for the under-18s and the under-21s maybe, but he's a 6'1" midfielder. Primarily, he plays in central midfield, like a number 8, and attacking midfield as well. He's pretty good at passing, and I think that's his main attribute, to be honest. Having seen the clips of him in the under-18s, his passing range is probably his best attribute. He gets the ball out of his feet, he looks up, and he finds a pass out to the wings or through to the striker, and it's almost a maturity beyond his age in terms of footballing brain. You don't see many players who are that age and are so good at just getting out the feet, looking up, and picking the right pass, as well as the accuracy of the actual pass that he makes as well. So I think some of the clips I've seen of him, he's got an absolutely brilliant passing range. He's 6'1", so he's tall. I mean, in the under-18s, that may be that he seems towering above everyone because he's 6'1" and they are under-18, so you get 16 and 17-year-olds playing in that league. But for a central midfielder, 6'1" is not small by any means, so it could be quite a commanding presence in there, and maybe a bit of an aerial threat as well. But I don't think that's his main strong suit. I think that is his passing range, and so I have seen him reeling in and out of tight situations as well. So his dribbling's okay, but like I say, I think he's been identified for his passing range. There isn't really much more information to go on about Darko Diaby. I mean, I've looked all over the internet and there's just not that many statistics available for under-18s unless you are actually a Premier League club, and you can use things like Opta and other data collection websites and stuff that you pay for as a club. Obviously, for a one person to pay for is absolutely astronomical, but the Premier League clubs have access to all this information, don't they? And I don't. So that's what I think. You're going to slot straight into the under-23s probably, given especially that the under-23s have just been relegated. So you'll be playing in the league below, but stepping up and playing in that under-23s team, I think. So eventually there may be a pathway to the first team there for him, much like people like Lewis Bate have had. But now we're bringing in more depth of squad in general. I don't think that there's going to be as easy of a route to the first team. I think obviously last season we had so many injuries that there was just a lot of routes to the first team for these under 23 players. I think that's going to close up a little with the signings that we've made, and obviously with Phillips going, that means that we need to sign another holding midfielder. So expect a Mo Kamara video in the next few days, because I've already done a Che Adams, he was who we wanted about 3 years ago, a Tyler Adams video, who it looks like we're quite keen on, but it looks like it's a toss-up between him and Mo Kamara. So I've already done on Adams, I'll do one on Mo Kamara, so expect that in the next few days. Thanks for watching this one. Bit of a depressing one because, like I say, this is boyhood club, he's a Leeds hero, but life goes on, and we look forward to next season. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time on Leeds Lately.